Gomidas Institute Director Ara Sarafian. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, and how are you?
Thank you. So my first question is, what is the Gomidas Institute? How was it founded?
The Gomidas Institute is an Armenian academic organization. It was founded in the early 1990s by a group of Armenian students at the University of Michigan, where I was studying. And we felt a need to have an alternative platform to address Armenian issues, to publish books. And so we started the organization. We never thought it would become such a big thing, but over the years, it evolved into a significant player in modern Armenian studies.
The Armenian Genocide is a focus of many of your publications and projects. Can you tell us something about its focus? Can you tell us more about your motivations?
Okay, you're right. The Armenian Genocide became a major focus of publications, but also projects. Remember, in the 1990s, the Turkish state actively denied the Armenian Genocide to the point of saying it never happened, there's no documentation to prove it, it's all fabrication. So we as an academic organization took on the challenge and started to publish sources from American diplomatic sources, from American missionaries, diaries, letters, Armenian survivors. So this became a forte of our work. So our understanding of the Armenian Genocide is based on the academic work we do with primary sources. It's the basis of our conviction of what we say. And in the 1990s, that was a major focus. The focus changed after 2002 when in Turkey, the Turkish state, what shall we say, allowed debates to take place on the Armenian Genocide. It was not a taboo anymore. Just like in the Kurdish case, until that point, the whole Kurdish question was a taboo. The Kurds are not a nation. The Kurds don't have a culture, don't have a language. In the early 2000s, it was possible to start debates in Turkey. Of course, the Turkish government still denied what happened to Armenians, but we could now address Turkish audiences and Kurdish audiences. And that, of course, was a debate we wanted to have. Because if we want to resolve the Armenian genocide issue, it's not amongst Armenians or outside of Turkey, but it's in Turkey. So we did all kinds of projects within Turkey. We had exhibitions, we had conferences even, we published books, and gradually we became more and more active inside of Turkey. And the genocide, of course, was the core issue. It's still the core issue regarding Armenians in Turkey today. It's not just about what happened to Armenians in terms of mass murder in 1915, because that led to a rewriting of Turkish history, where Armenians either don't exist, the destruction of Armenian properties in Turkey, the destruction of Armenian cultural buildings, many churches, cemeteries, rewriting history to the point where Armenians were no longer identified with their ancestral land. This was a part of the Turkish nationalist agenda, and it starts with the Armenian Genocide. So by talking about the Armenian Genocide, we are talking in so many other issues to do with Turks and Armenians, and of course Kurds as well.
In recent years, the Institute has been active in Turkey with various projects. So could you outline these projects for our audience as well?
Well, yes, when it was possible, we started. Like, for example, 2006, we went to a conference in Istanbul for the first time. We pushed the agenda by starting to commemorate the Armenian Genocide in Istanbul and later in Diyarbakir publicly. And of course, we had a lot of supporters from Turkish civil society. İHA'de, the Turkish Human Rights Association, became a major supporter. As I mentioned earlier, we published books. For example, we published a book on Ahtamar. The Church of Ahtamar. While official line in Turkey, it sort of minimizes its significance. We published a book in Turkish and English. We released the book in Van, and this was part of creating a dialogue with Turkish civil society. I mean, this is a way we can resolve problems openly through dialogue and to try and win the other side over, to resolve differences and the difference of understanding. And But so this is the softer side. We also went to Turkey and engaged the deniers themselves. So one of the focus of denial is what's called the Blue Book, the Mavi Kitab. This is a British parliamentary report on the Armenian Genocide from 1916. Turkish nationalists insist that this is a forgery. It was made up. I can tell you it's not made up because the originals are in Turkey. So we published this in Turkish as well, and we released the book in Turkey itself so that we can have a critical dialogue and to resolve differences. I can tell you that official Turkey has never responded. They still insist it's a forgery, but ordinary Turks and Turkish intellectuals make use of it. And so that one book alone, the Blue Book, became a major focus for debate to demonstrate how Turkey denies the Armenian genocide. And these debates are now taking inside Turkey for Turkish audiences. And more people started realizing, how unreliable the official thesis is in Turkey. I mean, I don't have to tell to Kurdish audiences. We know the official thesis denies the Kurdish history too. But in our case, of course, it's a final layer of burying the Armenians, burying the Armenian issue. Having destroyed them, then you destroy the truth.
You personally have been involved in southeast of Turkey, especially Diyarbakir. How would you assess your work there and why Diyarbakir?
Okay, I started working in Eastern Turkey as part of my own understanding of the Armenian genocide. I work in Harput area, where we have a lot of sources about the genocide, but also Van, a beautiful part of Turkey, Bitlis, and Diyarbakir. The reason that we got involved more and more with Diyarbakir was because in some ways that it is a Kurdish intellectual capital, and the Kurdish mayors and other intellectuals, I don't know, the head of the Bar Association, it was Tahir Elçi there, they were already engaging the Armenian issue. In Diyarbakir, the Kurds themselves were addressing the Armenian issue. They were renovating the church of Sukiragos. They were compensating the vakuf of the church as a way of reversing the legacy of 1915. So Kurdish intellectuals were not mimicking official Turkey. They were not deniers. In fact, it was the opposite. They were coming clean on the issue. They were acknowledging that Armenians were butchered, they were destroyed. In fact, they were saying even their ancestors were involved, which of course many Kurds were involved in the mass murder of Armenians. But the approach of the Kurdish intellectuals was to come clean, to come to reconciliation with Armenians based on truth. And this is a solid foundation. So I decided to go to Diyarbakir in some ways to test it. Are they really sincere in what they say? And we had the first commemoration of the Armenian genocide in Diyarbakir 2013. I literally, from London, working through İHA'de in Turkey, I made the offer. I said, I want to come to Diyarbakir and I want to read a statement for April 24, it was 2013. And they said yes. And Tahir Elçi, who was murdered, as you know, 2015, Tahir Elçi wrote back. He said, look, why don't we have a conference too? And already I could see that the need for dialogue with Kurds was genuine, their commitment to the dialogue, open dialogue. So, and we had this most amazing conference in Diyarbakir and public events. And I realized that this is a way where we can use our historical understanding of the past, but also to project a different kind of future, how to resolve problems. You don't hide it, you don't lie about it. You reach out to the victim and you say, we will do everything possible to undo the legacy of the past. And Diyarbakir has set a standard for all of Turkey. Ankara denies the Armenian genocide, but Diyarbakir doesn't. So in 2015, Ankara was denying the events of 1915. In Diyarbakir, they had a huge commemoration, where the Kurdish representatives of different parties and political organizations, Selahattin Demirtas was there, where they said what happened to Armenians was wrong. We need to address this issue. So you can see that it's a major movement within Turkey, and what they call the Kurdish movement is the one that has taken the lead on this issue. And this is a way to resolve problems. History should not confine ourselves, should not imprison us, should not make enemies of people. Truth should set us free, as they say.
Do you think that Kurdish-Armenian peace and reconciliation efforts will yield commensurate results. Could you elaborate as well?
Yes. So further from what we said earlier, in Southeast Turkey, nobody denies the Armenian genocide. In fact, most of, including Kurds, but also Turkish areas too. The question is, how do we allow people not to fear the past, but a way of releasing, of freeing yourself from what are perceived to be threats? Many people people in Turkey think that, oh, the Armenian question is going to be used to the detriment of the people living there, that Turks themselves and Kurds themselves will be dispossessed of their properties, that this is just a big ploy. Of course, that's not the case. It's more a case of that, but nobody denies what happened in 1915, at least in southeastern Turkey. But it's up to us as intellectuals, is to show what it is possible to do. So there are the fear mongers who don't want the debate to take place for their own political purposes. Ankara doesn't want to take that to take place, and some Armenian circles don't want a dialogue to take place because they're nationalists with their own agenda. But it is for us to show what I call the middle ground, normal people, normal Turks, normal Kurds, normal Armenians, that actually, even with the worst of the past behind us, we can still have a dialogue as human beings, see each other's humanity, and come to a common understanding of what is the best way to go forward. And this is the exercise in which we are. And this is what Diyarbakir represents. And this is what is the greatest fear to the nationalists, the Turkish nationalists or extremists, shall we say, in Ankara and some even in Armenian diaspora. The fear that there might be alternative ways of resolving these issues where it's not a nationalist solution, it is a human solution based on empathy, understanding, and not inequalities, not war, not force. And so as intellectuals, what we say and what we do matters because we are showing what is possible. As I mentioned, the very fact that we are talking about these issues in Diyarbakir, the very fact that nothing is off the table shows people that we are capable of resolving these issues if extremist agendas do not have their own way.
Gomidas Institute Director Ara Sarafian, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for supporting our channel.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you.